What's up, everyone? It's Roger and Abe here from DisKingdom.com with episode 1 of Infinity and Beyond, your weekly Disney video game podcast. And we're going to kick off with loads of news this week because, frankly, it is E3 and Abe's been there. So we have got so much news to go through this week. So I'm going to give a quick rundown of what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about the new Spiderman game. We're going to be talking about the Finding Dory playset. We're going to be talking about Star Wars Battlefront, the Doctor Strange concept art. We got Disney Magic Kingdoms. We got Lego Force Awakens, and we're going to be talking about all things E3 with all the bits and pieces that Abe's been down to. So, Abe, what's this week been like for you since you've been at E3?
Crazy. E3 was awesome. Lots of fun, lots of waiting in lines, unfortunately, but lots of awesome games to play. And it's ridiculously hot out here, so it's been crazy.
Yes. I mean, this week has been in video game news for us. I mean, the amount of stories I think I've been writing and sort of doing in bits and pieces for video games. It's kind of was one of those things. I think with Finding Dory coming out like Friday, there's that kind of thing of that was like the final bit of Disney Infinity, and I think because I got it a couple of weeks ago, that all kind of fizzled out. I to be honest, on Friday I forgot that it was out for everyone because I played it and finished it and kind of was done on it, and sort of it came out and I thought, well, bang on E3, it would have been a really weird kind of sort of release with so much going on. But in some ways, there was so much news coming out of E3 that, to be honest, as a video game fan, as a Disney video game fan, we've still got, it just kind of shows how much more stuff there is and how much more. It was kind of really quite nice, I feel, from like the video game point of view, to feeling like, well, actually, no, there is tons of stuff to be looking forward to in the future.
No, yeah, absolutely. There's just, even though E3 felt a little sparse, because obviously there wasn't, a lot of people weren't there. There was so many amazing games, so yeah, there was definitely a lot. And for me, obviously, Finding Dory came out just this Friday, and I finally found her today. So, yeah, I haven't even had a chance to play. It's so crazy.
Yeah, so that was going to be like my thing of like, where are we going to do like a Finding Dory kind of review? Because obviously I did mine last week, because I've played through it and I've done tons of videos and stuff, but to actually talk to you about what the game was like. So, but because since you haven't actually managed to play the game because you only found it a couple hours ago, we're going to push that back till next week. But just to say, it's out there. And also we'll probably be talking next week about Star Wars Battlefront Bespin, which is out tomorrow for me. We'll be going for all of that stuff. But definitely, like, Finding Dory has been a little bit of a case of trying to find it because it's been quite hard for you to find, hasn't it, out there?
Yeah, like for example, Nemo was sold out. Actually, I'm sorry, Dory was sold out in most of my Best Buys nearby. I couldn't find it at the Toys R Us either. And then Nemo, I got lucky. They had one at one of the Best Buys I went looking for, so I was able to find Nemo. And then today, just out of curiosity, it's like just walking into the same ones I already been to, and like all of a sudden, boom, they have it. So it's like, yeah, it's been weird. Yeah. A lot of people stateside have been having difficulty finding it too. So
I think as well, some of the retailers haven't had them online. They weren't out for pre-order. I'm still going to kind of go with this option that if you want a game, if you want to play it and you want to get these figures, I would definitely recommend picking them up sooner rather than later. If you're waiting for the sales, I don't think they put too many of these. I think they cut back on production on these figures.
Yeah, keep in mind they will not restock. So,
and some of the stores already are clearing out their aisles. They're clearing out the sections. Every store I've been in the last couple of weeks, I'm noticing the sections getting smaller and smaller, like every visit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Finding Dory playset, like I said, we were on last week's show, fantastic playset. Honestly, I did a review on the website. One of my all-time favorite playsets. It was fantastic. It works really, really well, and it's a fitting end to the game. But we're gonna, like I said, talk about that on next week's show a little bit more once Abe's actually got able to play it, and we can kind of have a proper discussion. So let's jump into E3 because that's the really kind of the big stuff from the week. And of course, the big announcement was Spider-Man. Now, we talked a little bit on last week's show with Rob about some of the Star Wars news that was announced at the E3 conference. So we're kind of not going to do too much on that. Spider-Man, that was a big announcement. What did you think of it?
Amazing trailer. Definitely the biggest surprise of Sony conference for sure. I think, in general, really, nobody was expecting that. I mean, I know you said you heard hints, but
yeah,
nobody at the actual conference expected to see something, and they showed the trailer. It's cool. Kind of looks like they have like a hybrid of the actual Marvel Cinematic Universe suit of what we saw with a new white on top of it. I don't know if they're probably maybe using a new suit that we'll see in what do you call it? I already forgot the title of the movie.
Homecoming.
Thank you, Homecoming.
Homecoming.
But for sure, I feel like the story of this game is definitely going to be completely different from this cinematic universe. It's going to be like its own little adventures and stuff. But regardless, looks really cool. I definitely love the feel of it as far as what we saw in the trailer, and I'm excited for it. I'm very excited for it.
Well, the Marvel have kind of had there was a few interviews that went up this week talking about how they are looking at their video game division. And they are licensing out. They're finding the right partners. They're only working with they're working with the best. Insomniac, I think they're an actual Sony exclusive sort of brands because they did like Ratchet and Clank. Was it Ratchet and Clank? I'm kind of gonna guess that this was maybe one of the kind of nice little ticks for the Spider-Man Homecoming deal. I would assume that was kind of a major thing for them, and I can't blame them for doing that. I think the thing looks really, really great. But Marvel are now focusing on making top-class quality video games. They don't want to be doing movie tie-ins. They are doing separate entities. They will do movie stuff. I think that's where the mobile stuff is going to come into it. I think with consoles, they have looked at what's gone on in the past and realized that if they play it properly and do it good, this could be, they want the Arkham Asylum kind of games. They want, the infamous, Injustice. They want those quality titles. They don't just want quick tie-ins because they don't work in the long run.
No, yeah. I mean, it definitely looks like they're aiming higher. They're trying to set a new bar for themselves, and this game definitely looks like it might just do that. So I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, it's kind of cool because it looks like EA are doing the same thing with Star Wars on their side as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Fortunately, not that much information, but it still looks awesome.
But yes, Spider-Man to me was kind of, I think and it definitely feels like that was one of the big announcements. Every time you see anyone in the last week when they're doing their recaps, there always seems to be a Spider-Man image in there as being one of the big announcements of the thing. And for me, it felt a little bit like, we've got a big major Marvel game, a big major console Marvel game in development that's coming, and yeah, that just looks amazing. And I apparently that the trailer was all in-game footage. It's not it wasn't specifically made for the trailer.
Right, yeah, that was awesome to see. I think that's the new trend, is to show people in-game footage now. So
yeah,
again, it looks awesome. So I'm really excited for it.
In a little bit of Marvel news, apparently Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2 have been listed on a Taiwan ratings board. So it looks like they are probably getting a remastered treatment. They were originally an Activision game. They released quite a while ago on PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3. Looks like they're getting the remastered version appear, like maybe like what they did with the Deadpool one, where they'll chuck all the DLC in and make it look a bit nicer. I know some people said, well, why don't they just make the old games backwards compatible on the Xbox 360? And I think the simple answer is they remaster it, they can sell it to you again. I missed it. I was actually looking the other day. I was looking, why did I miss this game? And I realized it came out, I think, exactly the same day over here as, I think it was Splinter Cell, which I bought instead. So I think
nice.
So it was one of those kind of things and I was looking at going, well, what? And it's like, you look through the history of the games of what was out. It's like, well, yeah, you tend to buy one game at a time. So, I was going, I was playing some, and then another Hitman game came out that year as well. So I was going, well, why did I not play this one?
No, yeah. Go ahead.
So that was the Marvel Alliance stuff. Like we said just then, Battlefront Bespin is the new expansion pack coming to Star Wars Battlefront, which is going to be out this week. We'll be doing some bits and pieces on that later on. Did you get to play the demo there?
Of Bespin?
Yeah.
No, they didn't. They didn't even have. They didn't even have Battlefront VR. They had no Battlefront there.
No, I don't know because I saw some GameSpot had some videos and stuff, but maybe they just had a backroom kind of version of
Yeah,
it.
yeah. They probably had their own little
Yeah,
private sneak peek. Yeah.
I was expecting to see a little bit more on that front, but they didn't. They definitely didn't go down the Battlefront zone. They kind of. I mean, there's been some great sales. I saw it on sale in the UK for like 12 quid yesterday.
Yeah, the whole week they had a lot of great games on sale,
Mm.
and there were tons of games on sale. So, yeah,
Definitely.
definitely. Even Disney Infinity was on sale, I think. But
Yeah, it was only. I think it was down to like $6-8 digitally as well. So that's definitely worth checking out. But yeah, so we're going to buy spin a bit more. They'll have Lando. There's also going to be a bounty hunter. You've also got the Cloud City ships and stuff. Just a toy of that ship. Okay, some other bits and pieces. Kind of Disney related. Yokai Watch 2 is coming to the 3DS on September 30th. Now this is the show actually airs on Disney XD, so it's kind of a Disney kind of thing, but it's out on the 3DS. I'm not really too sure of it. I mean, Yokai Watch 1 only came out in the UK in April. It was a really big delay. And I might have done something a bit silly on eBay this week and purchased myself a 2DS second hand.
that's where you purchased everything. So it's like I've never even heard of that game. Like Yoka, I was about to say bless you. Like did you sneeze or something?
Yeah, it's a big game in Japan stuff. I just figured I thought so. I literally there was a 2DS for like £30. I'm like, you know what? I might just there's at least 3 Disney games out on that console this year. So I thought I better at least kind of try and experience them as well. Before the NX gonna give it to you. So
I think you're like the only person in the world that still does that. Exhibit appreciates it.
Yeah, Exhibit. Yeah. We've also got. It's only because I only watched Deadpool again on.
Nice.
We got the last 2 levels for Finding Dory. Just Keep Swimming are out now. If you bought the app, you get those 2 on. I did record some videos, so they'll be up soon. I'm gonna be honest. Spoiler zone was not really. It's like, okay, I don't need to see. Just completely told the entire ending of the movie.
Oh yeah, don't. I already saw the movie twice, so yeah.
If you haven't seen the movie, you might not want to play those 2 levels, but they I can see why they held off to them and didn't release them until the day they got launched.
Mm-hmm.
Let's run through a few other little bits before we move on. Ultron is coming to Marvel Heroes probably either this week or next week. So I'll be doing some more content on that. So they've been doing their sort of anniversary year, loads and loads of freebies on there. Managed to finally get my last bits of anniversary cake last night while playing it, so I managed to unlock myself an extra stash. So I can store all the little extras and stuff. But do I buy a stash or do I buy and get a free hero? And well, my stash means I can hoard more junk that I'm collecting as I'm running around. So that's been a lot of fun. So if you're doing that, it's been a great way of getting extra characters and stuff. Disney Magic Kingdoms have added The Incredibles. Have you had a chance to play this?
Yes, that's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's like they added. Before they had the event where you had to like get rid of the crows or the evil or whatever, and then you had to get rid of the brooms. And then you had the coin collecting quest like back then, and then you had this new character introduced. Well, now they combined everything together, and they did that with Incredibles. So you're simultaneously having different quests going on, different contests going on. You're unlocking characters. Certain characters are available at certain times, so. I believe Dash is going to go live within a few minutes here, so I'll be unlocking him. But and then you can buy Frozone for really cheap, real money, obviously, or if you have gems, which I had, so it was awesome. But yeah, it's a fun event. I mean, you have the little Omni droids that you have to get rid of occasionally.
Yeah.
You collect new type of experience for Incredibles, and they have incredible coins that you can compete against everybody who's playing and get free gems out of it. And no, it's a lot of fun. I love the new animations too. When the new characters are unlocked, I love Frozone. He comes from behind the castle on his ice and everything. So it's cool. It's a great addition to the game. I'm really excited for it. So
I'm going to be honest. I just downloaded it again a couple of days ago on my iPad and have been playing a little bit like at night. I'm trying to sort of set things up for a couple of hours and then come back in a couple of hours. And after this, I only unlocked Jesse last night, so I'm really, really far behind.
Oh yeah, you're way behind. Yeah, way behind.
So I must admit, I have kind of picked it back up. To be honest, I think the Incredibles event actually was kind of one of those reasons of going. I was like, oh, I quite like this. This is kind of cool because I wasn't too sure what was going on with the game because it was a bit like I played it when it first came out and was like, oh, this is okay. But if they're doing events and doing constant upgrades, then that'll be enough for me to keep kind of going in. So I've got to try and catch up.
Yeah, they're constantly doing events. So yeah.
Yeah, because so that's kind of one of those kind of apps I'm going to be trying to play a little bit more of. I'm trying to get into a little. I've had so many apps and stuff on my game. Okay, we're going to switch gears back over now to parts. The remix. There's a lot of rumblings of the remixes 1.5 and 2.5 coming to PS4. There was an interview where he kind of said they haven't ruled it out. And I'm going to be honest, it still wouldn't surprise me if they did like an Ultimate Collection just before free, just to kind of annoy everyone even more so, because every time they announce something, everyone's going to just give us free already.
Yeah, and honestly, if they do that, they're only letting us know that 3 is not coming for a while. Because I know 2.8 is definitely a distraction. It really is. A little birdie that I spoke to at E3 also mentioned that it's definitely something to... imagine you're going traveling and you're waiting in your airport. The plane hangar to get on, and your flight's delayed 3 hours. So great, your 3 hours are up. You're getting ready to finally get on the plane, and then the stewardess goes on the mic and says, "Hey guys, come over to the gate for some free peanuts and soda." I was like, "Oh, I'm definitely going to be here for a while." Well, 2.8 is definitely your peanuts and your soda here, so I have a feeling 3.0 won't be coming for a while. So
yeah. So I was playing through. I'm still playing through 1.5. I was playing it last night for about 2 hours, and finally I was going through all the Hercules stuff. So I'm still.
Oh, I love the Hercules one.
The jumping stuff is so annoying. I'm just like jump.
It's not that hard.
It's awful jumping. The jumping in it feels just so hard. Trying to put the barrel down and jump on top of the thing. That was just me getting very annoyed. Now, also, they did say there's no Final Fantasy worlds coming to free, which was
surprising to me.
Yeah.
Very surprising.
And also, Unchained Key is out in Europe now, so we can all get it. So let's talk a little bit about Kingdom Hearts, since we're on the subject. So they had 2.8 on demo there at the free. What did you think of it? Because you actually managed to get to play it.
Yeah, finally, after waiting forever. The demo was so long. It's fun. It definitely reminds me of playing 1 and 2. I don't even remember her name.
Aqua.
Thank you. You basically, the level I was playing, you get to play as her, and it's like this dream thing that's going on, kind of similar to a lot of things that happen in 1 and 2. The mechanics feel great. They feel a little bit of old, a little bit of new in there. The darkness. I mean, honestly, 2.8, I feel like they're not giving us too much new stuff, or at least that's the demo. But it runs smoothly. It's fun. It's entertaining. It was a small little demo where it's a progression. So if you're good at it, you beat it in a few minutes, then your demo's over. If you're bad at it, you're going to be there forever until you get. So that was fun. They also had Dream Drop Distance or whatever it's called. Somebody else was playing that, and they were Sora, and then they had the all the colors going on and everything. It just reminded me, obviously, of the game that came out. But it looks great. I didn't go crazy like a few diehard fans that were playing it were, because it didn't feel new to me. It just felt like okay, this is cool. It's like an additional thing that they're adding to 2 in a sense, or 2.5 remix. Now it's 2.8. So but it was a lot of fun. It's definitely, I'm excited for it. I'll take the peanuts and the soda before I get 3, so I'm definitely probably going to jump on board and get 2.8. So
because looking at 0.2, was it the Fragments Passage or something? Is
that's
the new
exactly
version? How did it look? Because it looks like it looked a lot better than anything else we've seen before.
Yeah, it stands out as far as I mean, graphics goes. Obviously, it's cleaner. It's way more prettier than before. Obviously, I mean, I don't know how else to explain it than somebody watching the demo online. But it's fun. It's definitely unique. But it's just point two. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the story is so choppy that it didn't have that big effect on me. But again, it's still cool. I enjoy it. The mechanics are great. I love swinging that keyblade as always. Yeah, it's gonna keep me entertained while I wait for 3 before. We'll probably have the PlayStation Neo before that thing comes out, but whatever.
Yeah, because also, I mean, Dream Dot Distance is kind of the 3DS game that they've remastered and kind of
that one was cool.
Yeah, so that's kind of the meeting is as much as the Aqua 0.2 is the lovely new shot. The Dream Dot Distance is going to be the main one that's going to be in there.
I honestly enjoyed the Dream Drop Distance or whatever. I can't even say it. Yeah. I like the demo of that level better than what I saw with Aqua. So
yeah, but this is going to be cool because I must admit, my plan is to try and get through 1 and 2 before 2.8 comes out, and I've still got the other games on those remix ones. So I'm slow. You know, it's quite funny. I think having now starting. I feel like I've got December. I'm going to try and get through those games before then. But definitely kind of yeah. It definitely. I've completely ruled out trying to do the other games that are on the remix ones of just like literally 1 and 2. Those are my aims. I can see how I think having going through these games. I was into Kingdom Hearts now, and I can start. I'm seeing why people love the games with all the interaction with the different characters and stuff more and more. I think because I am playing it for the very first time, it's still quite new and it's sort of different, but it's quite intimidating knowing there's this much content. And I think from a newbie, it's been quite hard. There's, they just, especially within the fan kingdom, everyone sort of knows so much that when you're new, it's kind of quite intimidating going through it all.
No, yeah, absolutely. Numbers. Well, if you're trying to power through 2 different games, like it's definitely gonna be a little intimidating. So
yeah. There's a lot of stuff there. So I think as Kingdom Hearts, we're going to have a lot more on this as we kind of go through the year. I think there's a lot of interviews. I think, at the different events, I'm really hoping I get to kind of play these as well. I'm hoping at EGX later in September. Okay, so they're going to flip over to Star Wars. There was a Star Wars VR Battlefront mission kind of announced for VR.
Yeah, X-Wing mission.
Yeah, which looks good. It looks really good. Again, it's an experience. Now, this is where we don't really know when it's coming out. I don't know if is it at launch for this coming out in October?
It's supposed to be one of the launch titles. If it's not at launch, it's going to be one of the 50 that are supposed to be out by the end of the year. So
yeah, and it's free for people if you've got Battlefront already.
Because that I don't recall. I don't think so because you have to. Obviously, you're still going to need to buy VR.
Yeah, you have to have.
If you have the season pass, I think it might be free.
Yeah, I just remember in the press release, this will require a copy of Star Wars Battlefront for PS4, a VR, and a camera, all new and exclusive to PS4, and it's free for owners of Star Wars Battlefront. Yeah, so that.
Oh, so cool.
So
I don't have a camera though, so well.
No. You got to try out PlayStation VR. What was it like?
I'm sorry, you got me mid-drink.
Keep refreshed, hydrated.
It's really hot in here. PlayStation VR completely converted me. I was not an anti-VR person, but I was like, it's a gimmick type of thing to, wow, this is actually pretty awesome. It's funny, at E3, they, especially for the Sony VR, you had to download this app and schedule an appointment. And literally every day 1, day 2, day 3, within seconds of them opening up the venue, all of the appointments got booked. So
yeah,
I wasn't able to do anything the first day. Nothing on Wednesday, the second day. And I told myself, I'm going to get there early. So on Thursday, I'm going to do VR. So I'm waiting for them to drop the rope. And then finally it happens. And I get on my app. And I even have the media Wi-Fi, so it's going faster. And all of a sudden, it's asking me to register this different thing, and I'm like, "Oh my god, you're slowing me down!" And then I finally get on, and I was able to book a standby reservation, which means I'm still not guaranteed at the very end of the day. So I'm like, "Great, I'll be lucky if I get anything." There was a standby line for Batman Arkham because they decided that actually specifically Batman Arkham broke the app the first 2 days. So they decided it was going to be standby the rest of the day on Thursday. So I got in line, and literally within minutes, somebody came down from Sony and said, "Hey, I have 6 spots available immediately for Rigs," which is an awesome game on Sony VR. And I immediately went, "I'll do it." And so I was one of the people. And so that was my first experience with VR with Rigs, and honestly, it was an awesome experience. Rigs is basically, think of Titanfall, where you have the giant, robot, except it's more like a sports game. So you have a team of robots that you play together with. Your armored robot things. There's like 8 different types of rigs. They call them rigs, obviously, and it's a sport. So you have an objective. You shoot the opponent. And when you shoot them, they release these orbs. You collect the orbs. If you collect a certain amount of orbs, your whole suit glows. And when you're glowing, you have 45 seconds to jump into this hoop. And if you jump into the hoop, you get points. And that's how your team wins. But I played that demo. It was like a good 10-minute demo. Loads of fun. The experience is so great because the way the Sony VR works is like you have the visor. You adjust it. There's a button on the bottom of your visor thing. And you adjust that forwards and backwards, and that'll help you focus. And then the top one, you tighten it up on the back, and that'll add comfort. But once you're there, like you focus directly at the TV screen before you put it on, and that'll focus everything. And once you're there, dude, like literally I'm looking everywhere, 360 to the side, up, down. It's perfect. It's awesome. It was a great experience. I think the only downside that I would say I'd have is when you remove the headset, you start to sweat a little bit because it's kind of hot. Because you're essentially wearing something that's warm. So, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. So I got out of that. Actually, wait a second. While I was demoing, before I started Rigs, they had this little screen where you sat down and you're waiting for the people to finish. I pulled out the app, and for some reason, somebody decided to unbook themselves from an appointment. So I literally clicked it as fast as I could, and I got in. So literally, once I got out of Rigs, I went to play this game called Res Infinite, and that game was interesting. It was like a space shooter / retro techno music crazy game. It was intense. And all it is you aim your gun with your face, like wherever you look, that's where your aim goes. And you would hold down a button. You would basically target 8 different enemies at the same time. And once you let go, it'll shoot them all. And you follow this boss. But anyways, that was pretty epic. It was an awesome experience. And so just like that, within the first 30 minutes of E3 on Thursday, I had already experienced 2 VR experiences. Then I start walking out to collect my Rigs free T-shirt that I got because they give you a voucher and you have to go outside to the PlayStation tent to get your T-shirt. And I happened to run into my good friend Susie from Virginia, who works for PlayStation, who was out working the event, and she's like, "Oh, I'm working Batman. Do you want to try it out?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So I literally head back into where I was with her. I wait like 5 minutes because they had like a VIP or whatever they were doing it. And then I go. And that was a pretty cool experience. I mean, the demo was simple. If you waited for hours for that demo, you may have felt a little ripped off, but it was cool. All it was is you're Bruce Wayne. Alfred gives you the key. You put it into your piano. You open it up, and then you push the few buttons. And then all of a sudden, the piano goes back, and then you start descending into the floor, and you're finally going down to the Batcave, and then like this thing pops out, and you grab your your mask and you put it on, and then this next thing pops out and you grab your suit. You move your arms because you have the motion controls in your arms. You put your arms, and then that puts it on, and then finally you start playing with your weapons. You start using your batarang and all these different things, and then at the very, very bottom, when you finally descend the bottom, this mirror shows up. And you see Batman looking at you, and you're like, huh? And you start moving the motion controls, and all of a sudden he's doing the exact same thing you're doing. And then you realize, oh my God, I'm Batman. So literally the whole demo is just you becoming Batman, and then finally
just
later
getting dressed.
Yeah.
So
what's up? Go ahead.
Carry on.
I was gonna say, and then finally at the very end of the day, the reservation that I did make turns out Final Fantasy was all booked up, completely booked up the whole weekend, and for some reason, when I went in to standby, they said, "Okay, there's an open spot in Final Fantasy. Do you want to go do it?" I'm like, "Sure." so I tried that out too. That was fun. It was really simple, to be honest with you. I felt Final Fantasy was the easiest of all of them, but it was a great experience. But anyways, go ahead. I think you had a question.
I was gonna say, yeah, because I think that's the thing. I think now, because I'm in that kind of category at the minute. I'm not so. It's like obviously being a glasses owner, I'm worried about how it's going to work. So I'm definitely in that zone of I have to try it before I'm not buying anything.
Yeah,
until,
I'd be concerned. Is definitely if you're wearing glasses, depending on what kind of VR you decide to get. Obviously, with the Sony VR or the PlayStation VR. I do remember it was, you had to adjust it to your eyes, and I did notice that it was a little blurry. So I think it does depend on your vision. Yeah. I don't know if you pushing this forward and backwards will help with those who do wear glasses, but I think before you jump on the bandwagon and spend close to $500 on a VR system, definitely try to demo it. I know you're out in the UK. I know out here Sony is doing these demos, I think starting next week in a bunch of various Best Buys all over the country. And you can try it out. So definitely look up on the websites, even for Oculus and all the other ones, to see your local place and try it out before you decide to jump in and buy one. But I definitely approve. Before I was opposed, or not opposed, but iffy about it. Now I approve. It's awesome.
Yeah, I think this has been this thing. I think with VR is that it's very much. It feels like you're either in it or out, and I think until you do it, it definitely feels like everyone's out. I'm gonna be honest. The price-wise, it's come up for pre-orders. I think it's October. I'm in that boat of I'm gonna play it. I want to see what it's like. I'm not interested in it in day one. I'm kind of. It doesn't really. It only feels like experiences at the minute. If I have $350, I'm kind of more interested in maybe saving that to see what the NX is. That's where I'm really at the moment of like. There's, I mean, they did, and they've announced so much hardware is coming over the next 18 months at E3. The Scorpio, the Xbox S, the PlayStation Neo, the PlayStation VR, the NX. There's a lot of stuff being thrown around, and I wonder if this is going to be the same thing that what I'm doing. And people going, right, I can't afford everything. You've got to cherry pick.
Absolutely, yeah. It's going to be a different E3 next year for sure. So. But definitely that's the best advice. Definitely try something out before you decide to dive in and buying it. So
yeah, it's definitely, and it's not cheap. 350 quid, I think it is over here. So it's not cheap, but I'm definitely interested in where it goes. I'm still wondering if it's going to be a bit of a gimmick. I think I know they're putting all these like Scorpios and Neos are all being built just for VR and 4K, which is a bit odd because it's like, I don't have a 4K telly, so I'm way off. Yeah, upgraded.
One of the conversations I had with people there were the only way that VR is not going to be a gimmick is if they release quality games for it.
Yeah.
Right now, out of all the games that I played, the only quality game I think, or at least up to par, was Riggs. But I mean, probably Res Infinite would be the next one. Final Fantasy honestly didn't sell me. I thought the gameplay was so simple. Yeah. It didn't feel like it was innovative. I just thought I was just wearing a mask and that's it. But it needs to be a quality game. If we get a nice handful of quality games for VR, then it's not going to be a gimmick. It'll stick around for a while. But if we keep getting these little mini game things or something that's not going to last too long, then there's no point. You know what I mean? Like, for example, Battlefront, we're only getting a mission. Is that all we're getting? I heard that Batman Arkham is only like an hour adventure the first time. I don't know if it's going to be additional DLC. I don't know. But point is, if it's not quality, it's probably not worth the big amount of money. Although, no, I won't talk about it. Never mind. This is a family show. I'll talk about that later.
It's definitely, I think it's definitely going to be one of those things. It'll come. I think it's a gimmick to begin with. I think they're testing the waters. I think they are. It's an experience, and the hardcore gamers are going to want it. But it's got to go mainstream. It's going to need to be differently priced. Because at the minute, if you're going to need a Neo and a VR, you know, near $1,000, you know, it's pricey. And if the games aren't there for it, it won't sell.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I'm going to shift gears over. Star Wars: The Force Awakens, the demo for the Lego version, because the game is out the end of, was it the 7th? It's out next week, isn't it? Is it the 26th?
Yeah,
it's out next week. The demo dropped down onto PlayStation 4 on Monday or Tuesday, and then
during the Sony press conference,
and then also it was on Xbox One, I think, the following day. Gotta be honest, played the demo, loved it. I thought the way they've changed it with like the first person shooting with Finn and the flight bit with the Millennium Falcon was amazing. It really feels like they've kind of stepped up the game on what they're doing. They're really pushing the boat out on trying to improve over, and I was really blown away with how good that demo was. I can't wait to play the game. Do you know what, as well, as I'm going to be honest, I thought this was perfect for Lego Force Awakens to put the game out, a new demo during E3, because you don't get demos anymore. It's all betas and register for this, and just a normal fashion demo right when everyone's talking about the game. Right before it, everyone at home gets to play stuff and be part of E3, almost like having early access to something. I just thought it was great. I thought it was a great move by Lego for that.
No, yeah, absolutely. The demo that was released for the PlayStation and the Xbox One, I have not had a chance to play. However, I did play the demo that was at E3, and that was completely different from the demo that was released. And that was really cool. It actually, not only are they're telling us the story of Force Awakens, but they're also telling us other stories. For example, stories that happened before. The demo that I got to play was basically Poe Dameron rescuing a certain admiral from a starship, and he was I don't know, captured or arrested or whatever. But it was kind of cool. You get to see your old favorite characters and experience new stories. I love the new incorporation of the orange brick, where you basically get to choose what you want to build. It's no longer you push the button and it builds what you need. Now you basically build, and you could be wrong, and so you have to rebuild it, and it kind of adds more timing and gameplay to the game. So it's kind of cool.
Definitely feels like it's for me. I'm really excited about this game. I can't wait to play it through. It's kind of exciting to know that we've got this brand new game coming in a couple of weeks. But it kind of definitely felt like Lego, even though it was being pushed as the game that's out and it was being promoted everywhere and the demo was out there, it definitely felt like Lego Dimensions was the one that they were pushing stronger. I don't know how. About that at the event.
Yeah, they had Lego Worlds on the far corner. Then they had Force Awakens in the middle, and then they had this giant thing on the very right side of Lego Dimensions. And Lego Dimensions was definitely a big push. But the new modes were kind of fun. I got to try the demo on the outside of the room. I didn't wait the stupid long line for a figure. That was dumb. But anyways, the thing that was outside was the battle mode, the battle arenas. And also they had the Ghostbusters, the new Ghostbusters level. And I got to play both of them, and they're pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. I'm glad that they finally are adding longer story packs as opposed to just a simple 30-minute. Like, this is supposed to be like 6 levels within the level. So it should add at least a couple hours or 3 hours of gameplay. And then the battle arena was cool. I mean, they are introducing PvP in a Lego game. I mean, I mean, before you used to mess around if somebody was playing with you and you break your partner into pieces and then they'd get back together, you know what I mean? But this one, you have like games like Capture the Flag, you have an objective challenge, and every character that Wave 2 comes with actually unlocks a new battle arena and new theming, and so it's kind of cool. I did enjoy that, so it was cool.
Looks like they're adding as well. Even the level packs are much longer than they were. I think the criticisms from year one was that there was not enough content for what they were, but for how much people were spending. You know, there's a 30 pound level pack, and you're only getting 20-30 minutes. They look like they are definitely looking at, right, okay, each figure gets this. We're going to double up the length of the strings. I'm going to be honest. Lego Dimensions, I think, was a strong contender for really picking up a lot of steam in this one. I think because it's seemingly the one that's majorly on show. It definitely seems like it's picked up a lot of steam. It's picking up a lot of fans. A lot of people are excited about it, and it's just been all I keep hearing is good stuff about it.
Well, it was also the only one really on the floor. I mean, Disney obviously was not there for a reason. The Skylanders chose not to be on the floor at all. I mean, they did have a private conference room on top, which I did get to go see and experience, thanks to Rob from CoinOp. But
he was in the chat, by the way, so big hello to Rob.
Hey, what's up, Rob? So yeah, it was just surprising to see, you know, the three major contenders of Toys to Life. One obviously being gone permanently. The other one decided not to be there, just to be there privately for, you know, appointments. Obviously, it had the Lego standing out because they were technically the only ones there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it definitely seems to come in with that. I mean, Skylanders actually got a Netflix show starting as well, so I do think that they've got a good opportunity to kind of reach a bigger audience with the Skylanders. But what did you think of that? Just on a side, since you know we're still on the Toys to Life stuff a bit.
You know what? I kind of like the idea of what they're doing now. You know, it's very obvious that the Toys to Life category, it's dying down a little bit. So if it's going to survive, I think they're not going to try to release, you know, figures in the masses. Clearly, that was an issue for Infinity. Well, I mean, within, obviously. But it's, you know, when Rob and I sat through the little demo that they were showing us, you literally can customize absolutely anything with your Skylander. You literally have a template of what you want to choose, obviously the face and all that stuff and the body type or whatnot. But then once you finally choose that, you really can theme anything: the color of it, the shape, the gender, the name, the sound effects, the what do you call it, the little objects that are surrounding it, any glowing. Like you literally can customize it however you want, and once you do that, that's the one that's in the game. Like literally, this thing doesn't get all glitchy and you get pixelated images of this thing that you created. No, it legit looks like a Skylander in the game. You name it whatever you want. You basically pick up new pieces of either armor or new torso or new head or whatever, and you can swap out after you collect it and make your Skylander even better. And I know under the table talks, I know people have suggested, well, why don't you guys 3D print these things? And they're definitely considering it. But at this time, you know, all it is you have this little gem crystal thing, and it's based off of the element of whatever the Skylander would be. You put it down and you save the Skylander, you create it into that little thing. So it's cool. It's I honestly definitely like this better than Superchargers, and way better than Trap Team, as far as the game and where it's going. So I think they definitely have a good contender this time around.
I definitely feel like, I mean, I think they're in this kind of thing of, for Skylanders, with Infinity out the way, they've got an opportunity to go for it with the Netflix series. I'm gonna be honest, I think with Skylanders, I mean, it's like the other day, you know, I was in the supermarket. You know, they had Superchargers on sale on the PS4 for like £15 for the starter pack. And most of it, when you see that next to Lego Dimensions, it's like, well, I was like, you know what, I'd tempted just to pick up the starter pack just to play with the characters in the starter pack and just play for it. And if they need any characters, tough, you can't have them. But my wife did say, no, put it down. I'm not kidding. She said, you're not doing that again. But I have been looking at Lego Dimensions starter packs and trying to find a deal on stuff, because it still feels very expensive for, you know, year 2 kind of thing. But I feel like I don't know if it's just because I think the Lego Dimensions obviously being on the show and being there, and also with the franchises, with that kind of it's hard to me. I feel like the Imaginators stuff. It kind of feels like creating your own character has been done to death in video games, and I've never enjoyed it in any game I've ever played. I don't want to create my own character. I don't want to create my own wrestler. I don't want to create my own person. I want to play the character that's in the game as it is and go. So for me, I remember doing it with, like, you know, they were introducing it in sports games. I always remember with the WWF games and WWE games doing it. So for me, I've never really been that interested in it.
I think because the only reason why I feel like this one is definitely different. I mean, you literally customize everything. You like, no joke, during our little presentation, they unlocked the fart sound. And he said, you know what? I'm going to tie this to any time she moves. So every time she moves, she'd jump, you'd hear the fart sound. She'd attack, hear the farts. It's like, I know it sounds stupid and simple, but the fact is that you can customize it to how you want. If she's standing and whatever she's, you know, her idle position, you know, she has little, you can have her glow. You can have little dragonflies go around her. You can have her animation be different if you wanted to. If this is her set color or the way she looks, you can actually change it. Like, you know, the game suggested already what she's supposed to look like. You can actually change that. You can. It's to the point to where if she's wearing this piece of armor, you can change the color of the armor in certain areas. You can do that. It's like it's very in depth, and that's why I feel like I literally, like, you know, I'm with you. Like if it was a simple engine where you pick your face, your eyebrow, your eyes, all that stuff, like, it's not like that. It's a little bit more complex.
Yeah,
but I could totally spend, you know, at least 20, 30 minutes having fun building my own character for one too. That's how intuitive it is. So I don't know.
It's definitely going to be interesting. I think it was one of those big things from the Infinity side of things, of feeling like, you know, E3 has always been like, you know, a mental time for us for video game, you know, for the last 3 years with like Disney stuff. And like this year it was like it didn't happen. And we're just literally looking at the other one going, yeah, we're not getting nothing. I mean, it would have been odd even 3.0 was still around, but it definitely, I don't know if like the Infinity audience is a little bit more drawn to Lego because of the known characters. I think that's the big key.
I don't know. I mean, some of us are getting turned off from Toys Life completely because of the whole, you know, the whole dumping. So it's crazy. But yeah, like you said, we got nothing. And I even put a picture up on Twitter, like, lying on the carpet of where it used to be. I mean, it was so sad, dude. This huge chunk of, you know, I was gonna say property. This huge chunk of space wasted for just a red carpet and some chairs and something. And not even that. Also to the left of it, part of that was also empty because that's where Skylanders was too. So it just felt weird not to have that.
Because kind of that thing with E3, because a lot of companies were pulling out, they didn't even find anyone else to go in those spots. They were just empty.
Nope. It was just empty. They literally put, well, there was something towards the very far right corner, but again, this is a family show. I won't talk about it. But let's just say it was an adult VR experience, and I was like, wow, I can't believe it's here. Anyways. That's the only thing that was there. So
it's kind of, in some ways you kind of think, well, you know, maybe they should, you know, like if they can't sell that space, you know, they give everybody out or something like that and give everyone a bit more room. But it's been an interesting, I think as far as E3 goes, it's been lots of, I mean, I can see why in the weeks ahead of E3 they start getting like all the Kingdom Hearts stuff all being given out to us before E3, so it doesn't get lost in the shuffle. And you know why and like Lego Dimensions announcing so much stuff before they get, because there's been, I mean, my video feed on YouTube has been mental, and the Twitter feed, you know, there's been so much news coming through from E3. It's taken a few days just to literally just seem to feel like go through everything.
Oh no, yeah, it was. Even though, like I said it earlier in the podcast, it felt you know sparse because it was not that many people there, but it definitely felt pretty busy this year because there was a lot of great content and a lot of great games. So yeah, there's a lot to go through still. There's a lot of post interviews and whatnot still going on. So
right, I'm just going to do a quick shout out to some of the people in the chat that are watching live just before we go on to another subject. Infinity Lover, Chloe's in there. Infinity TV. We've got Deadpool, we've got Rob from CoinUp TV, and also I think there was enjoy. But to all you guys in, so they've all been sort of doing that there. So let's jump on to, I think, kind of like the last one, which I kind of brought it to earlier, was next, go and give it to you. All right.
Don't give it to you. That.
Next, so did you get to play Zelda at all?
I did. I got to play Zelda, but it was on the Wii U. So it was not in the next. But no. Zelda was awesome. I waited 2 hours for that thing. Rob would have been there with me if he wasn't sleeping. But no, he wasn't sleeping. I think he was busy. But no, yeah, it was quite. It was quite magical. It honestly, it reminded me of my first E3 experience that I ever had years ago. This was back when the PS3 was first announced. Nintendo had closed off an area and completely enclosed it, and they were doing Twilight Princess, and you would walk in and you were walking through these dungeons and you see some of the bad guys, and you see all of a sudden in the distance a puppeteered wolf, so it kind of went with Twilight Princess. Well, somewhere here, you walk in, you watch the trailer of it, and then the screen is showing you like these bars going up, and all of a sudden the screen goes up with it, so it kind of feels like it was part of it, and you just walk into this room and it's just, you're completely converted, you're in this world. But you had two different demos. They first did just an open area demo where you go attack and you explore and do whatever, and it felt nice. It felt really good. I love it's not completely self-shade graphics. It's self-shade and a little bit of pixelated classic style. So it kind of felt like something new and fresh. Yeah. I did feel hints of Ocarina of Time, which is an awesome Zelda game. Felt some hints of Majora's Mask and Twilight Princess, and at the same time, it felt like a completely brand new, different game. I mean, obviously it is, but like it felt different from a Zelda game that we usually get. Like it's like 100. He's been asleep for 100 years. He's out into somewhere in the future, and he has this little tablet thing that opens up portals, and then
it's an app.
Yeah, like a little app thing. And then one of the guys from Nintendo Inquirer showed me a video that he took from when he did the demo. And apparently he was focusing on this part of the screen. There's a spaceship in a Zelda game. Yeah. And that kind of like, whoa, what's this? And he showed me, and I'm like, okay, this game is definitely different. But the second demo that I did, it was basically playing through the very beginning of the game and going as far as you can before your time runs out. But it was fun, dude. It was a lot of fun. I'm more than confident that it's going to look more, definitely a lot prettier and better graphics when it's on the next. But as far as what I got to see, unfortunately, it was under the Wii U engine. So
I think as well, it definitely feels like that one there. I think they've gone with that different style, so it doesn't quite show up as being because they haven't gone down the photo realistic. It can look a little bit different.
Oh, absolutely. No, it definitely, like I said, it felt different. It had a classic feel, but also a brand new feel to it. So
it's kind of been, for me, it feels like it's been one of those games that have really it's been like one of the standout moments of E3 went into this with everyone just saying Zelda, that's all you're getting. Of course, everyone's like, "Come on, we want more than that." I think then once Zelda come out, everyone's just been like, "Sold! This is fantastic." If this is going to launch the NX, a lot of people are paying much more attention to it. I don't know if Nintendo maybe overdid it with the tree house. I mean, that seemed like one long demonstration of it. I mean, they really did kind of go a little bit long on that one.
Yeah, well, they sort of have been doing that for the past couple of years now, and yeah, I mean, that's the way of doing their own thing. They don't want to like do conferences anymore, and the treehouse is the way to do it. But it was interesting that they decided to do one game this year. I mean, they could have demoed a bunch of others, and the only way they demoed it was through the treehouse. Like last year's was way better. You could have played at least, I think it was like 7-8 games. But still,
yeah,
go ahead. Yeah,
I was going to say, because for me, it was a bit like, you need that like 20-minute, half-an-hour show to kind of bring all your attention into one. Because if I sit down, it's a 6-hour live stream. Well, I'm not watching that one. You can't sit there. There's so much news coming out of you. There's a live stream as an extra, but you needed that kind of like main focus bit to kind of bring all the attention. I mean, they announced a few of the DS stuff, but it definitely feels like they know that I mean, I think they did a great job in some ways of, when they announce this NX console and whatever it's going to be and whatever it's going to do, it's going to be to grab all the attention, because E3 is, they moved away from the Xbox S and the Scorpio and the Neo. I think in some ways they did the right thing by not having NX on show, but I definitely feel that they're going to have to show us some stuff soon if people want to start saving, because we're only 8 months away from the release of this console.
Wait, is it the release or just the announcement?
It's coming out in March, so it's got to be coming out soon. So.
Wow. And I thought it was just the announcement of it, because they haven't said anything about it. So,
well, all they've said is that it's coming out in March, and that's it. And so there's not really a lot of information. I mean, they've been saying that they're going to be announcing details in the fall. So that could be September. Okay. There was rumors that on the EGX, which is the UK show, that it was one of the questions was about playing the next and stuff. So, if they want people. And if they leave it too long, there's going to be leaks, because I think they've been leaking out patents to kind of throw people off, because they don't know quite what it's going to be. Personally, I think it's going to be like a handheld console that that can send a signal to the TV. I think it's going to be something, because I think they can. You think of your tablets and all the rest of it now. You can send signals to your TVs and stuff. I think they're going to try and incorporate everything into one thing, and that's my theory anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. It's still a mystery to me, but yeah, everybody thought Zelda was the game winner of the whole expo, and I don't know if I agree with that statement. I think Battlefield 1 was, but definitely Zelda was awesome. It was an awesome game. So.
Right. Okay. So we got I think one more. We got an Infinity's thing to finish kind of the news bit on, was the Doctor Strange we kind of got the concept art for him.
Hold on, I'm a little sad about this one.
Let's give a moment.
Yeah, this is definitely one that was already expected to have, because they said additional to come. Well, like, okay, well, what movies are coming? Doctor Strange, and I was like, oh, he's gonna look amazing. And then when they canceled it, this was the one figure I was thinking about in my head. I'm like, oh no Doctor Strange, and yep, there he is. He's gorgeous.
Yeah, and he does look so cool. And it is, like you say, it is just so. I think when we're hearing all this stuff, it just feels very much like, what a shame that it went out the way it did. I mean, it still feels quite raw, I think, because of how they did it, because they just pulled the plug and we didn't get this. And it's kind of, when you can see all these like leaks of characters, because we've had like Jafar, and we've had him, and we've had Hulk, and it's just it's a shame.
Yeah, it's been a lot of heartbreak. I mean, Peter Pan is phenomenal, and we will get him. Obviously, the premium figure of Hulk looks awesome too, but I wasn't like going gaga crazy over it, since I already have one. But this one definitely hurt a lot. Jafar was supposed to be a boss in the new toy box playset mode. It wasn't really going to be a figure, so that one didn't hurt as much. But Doctor Strange was the one that hit me really hard, because he just, it's too bad. No, it's too bad.
It's a real. I mean, this is kind of thing. I think like with Disney Infinity, it kind of, I think we're going to find out. I think once everyone's been paid off, and we might start seeing a little bit more here and there of what would have been. But it definitely feels like, I mean, JV was on Kind of Funny with Craig Miller the other day, and that was a really good interview. I mean, but it didn't really go too much details about what went wrong. It was the rise and fall of Disney Infinity, but there wasn't really much about the fall, because he's not really allowed to say anything. But you caught up with that one as well, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I definitely saw it. It was entertaining, JV being his awesome JV self, and obviously we'll say it out here too. Who knows if you'll ever see this, but we got your back too, JV. We all love you. We definitely love what you've done for the community and everything. But ultimately, like you said, the title definitely did not fit the show, because we didn't really get to hear anything about it, other than the fact that he knew a little bit before, and luckily he has somebody he can lean on right now. So that's awesome.
Yeah, he's got himself a proper bird. That's that thing.
Yeah, there you go. He's Brett.
So it's good. I mean, it's this kind of thing. I think we're going to start learning a little bit more about this stuff over the coming months. Once everyone's kind of finished off, Because it must be all be coming to the end. Is it the end? Is it July that they all finish, or that they've all finished beforehand?
Some of them have already been let go completely,
Yeah.
so they're already no longer employees. But the final batch should be, I think, I don't know if it's the 1st of July or I think a little bit after. But still, yeah, it's coming up the final day, and we're probably going to hear more and more information, which is, you know, at the same time, it sucks because obviously a lot of great people are out of a job, but it's kind of interesting to see the concept of what was going to come. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
That kind of gets a few of us excited and depressed at the same time. But yeah, it's coming up. So
yeah, I think it definitely. I think Finding Dory, it was a perfect way to finish the game off in terms of having a playset and finishing on a high note. It's kind of hard. It's quite difficult. You know, obviously people have been like bulk selling stuff. Some people are holding on to it. Some people are like clinging to the, you know, that concept that it might didn't come back. But I think, you know, once all the team are off working somewhere else and doing bits and pieces, you know, this would they ever bring it back? Not in the is you know, the game as we know it is pretty much, I think, as we all know, you know, Disney pulled the can. And what they're doing with Marvel, I think they're going to start doing. They're going to be doing more and more of this with Disney, but it's just going to take them a bit longer because I think Marvel and Star Wars were working on their bigger plans for a lot longer. You know, they're already deep into development mode. I don't think Disney were quite as far ahead as the Marvel division.
Do you mind if I talk about something real quick? Like, do we have time for? Okay.
Fine.
I wanted to bring up the whole Save Disney Infinity campaign for a second because I think it's a little important that people need to hear this a little bit. There's been campaigns rolling out and overhyping and obviously having people upset. And I think it's time that we bring this up. I spoke to a group of awesome people who, you know, obviously want to keep the game alive, but it's important that I extend this message because I was able to talk to a few people at E3 who happened to be a part or were a part of the team, unfortunately, because obviously they're let go. But look, Save Disney Infinity campaign was awesome. We honestly accomplished what we wanted to do, which was to let them know that they're loved, that we appreciate everything that they did. Disney Infinity was awesome. We all knew from the get-go that there was a slim to none chance that we would be saving the game literally. But it was definitely something to show support and to show thanks. So I now want to extend this part, which is a two-part. One is we accomplished it. A lot of people were thankful. They felt the love. They were really, really happy with what we did. You know, we all did it as a community. It was beautiful. We all did a great job. Aside from that, they also became marketable. And the beauty of that is that even though Disney's like, nope, sorry, we don't care about it, we're moving on, they look good in the sense that, whoa, they created a product that people love, that people want to continue. And so other companies may see this as, okay, it's a possibility that we can try to get something like it. And I don't think anybody will ever license the Disney Infinity brand, but I think they could license the characters or the franchises and do something similar. And at the same time, when I say marketable as well, they could create their own brand new company. You know, it may not be Avalanche anymore, but it might be something else. Like I keep calling it Snowball because it's before the Avalanche, you have a little snowball. But ultimately, I wanted to launch a brand new campaign, which is what I told these guys. Which is actually it's the same campaign, but it's phase. I call it phase final, which means let's celebrate Disney Infinity. What we have already, we have 3 awesome games full of great content that we can always replay. We still have the toy box still working right now. The servers are still up. Download everything you want. Everything's great. We have these final 2 characters that just came out. An awesome playset that came with it. I'm excited to play it. I haven't, but it's time we move on from the Save Disney Infinity. And the reason why I say move on, I'm not saying this to make anybody depressed. I'm saying this because, and again, I spoke to a few of them at E3. They want to move on. And quite frankly, continuously spamming and creating campaigns that have already been done before and asking them to be a part of it, it's not really helping them. In fact, it's some of them have become annoyed, and we should honestly honor them and thank them for what they've done. And this campaign, this final campaign, should be called Let's Celebrate Disney Infinity. So please, guys, let's try to move on. I know the grieving process is different for everybody, but in the words of one of them, which I will not quote, I will not say who it was, but in the words of one of them, there is no saving Disney Infinity anymore. It's gone. It's unfortunately, it's still alive in our hearts. It's still alive in our homes. We can still play it, but there's no stopping it from being shut down because it's done. It's time to move on, guys. And again, thanks to the whole team who did this whole initiative. Thanks to, I think, Tim, who started the petition, and obviously we decided to launch the letter campaign here, and obviously all the other sites decided to jump on as well. We did great, and the team appreciates everything we did. So it's time to move on, guys. Let's celebrate Disney Infinity.
I think it's definitely that kind of thing. I feel like, when the campaign launched and all the rest, I think it was perfect. I think it was a great way of kind of, the fans felt like they had to do something, and they had to, they wanted to do something. We're living in a world where, you want to do something, and social media and stuff kind of allows for this a little bit more. So that kind of, it was great. I think it was a good part of the grieving process, because you can sort of say to Disney going, "Oi, I don't like this." You've signed this petition and you're kind of saying, "I don't agree with this." And I'm showing my disagree. And that was kind of it. I think as far as kind of the continuous part of it was, once it started getting into concept of like, feeling like, I think the numbers got so high that they thought it was good enough to save the game, but in reality, so much money would be needed. It's like a Kickstarter. You're not talking, a normal AAA game can cost, what was it, 30-50 million bucks to make. Disney Infinity had the budget of 3 or 4 of them. That's like trying to kickstart, Uncharted 4, Titanfall 2, and Legend of Zelda all out of one game. That's essentially what you're trying to do. So the budget would have been insane. So as I was saying as well, like, if it was ever to come back, it would have to be digital only, and because of the costings, to keep the costs down. And because people are like, well, it has to have the toy. It's like, they want to resell you Buzz. They'd want to everything would have to be redone to make money. Right. Because doing everything retrospectively doesn't bring in the money. So I still think, and I said about this to you earlier, this thing like Lego Worlds, things like that, they are, the idea of doing a Disney create a toy box kind of game, I still think it's got legs in it. I still think it's something they could do, and they could take the.
Sorry,
I know you didn't like it. But in terms of, I always felt like the toy box as a separate game, the toy box game could be turned into else wanted to do it, but it's going to come brand new. It'll be a brand new experience, and it would be years away because nothing from Disney Infinity could stay. It just, it feels like, it's thing about this moving on. People are moving on to other games. People jumping onto Dimensions, people playing Overwatch. I've jumped into Kingdom Hearts. People are playing different games. People are getting into different bits and pieces. And that is, you're not being, because there's the kind of thing of like, traitor. It's like, well, it's a video game at the end of the day. It's like, you finish watching a movie. That doesn't mean, right, I loved, Civil War. That I can't watch another superhero movie. Now I've made my alliance. You can watch, you can play, you can do what you want. I feel like the campaign, it did exactly what it did. I think it was fantastic. 10,000 plus people signed it and showed their love for the game and for the community and for the team. And that was it. But I do agree that, the campaigns of I think, it wasn't going to be, the thing of, was EA going to pick it up? Well, if EA was going to pick it up, they weren't going to announce it E3 within 3-4 weeks notice.
Yeah. Right.
And I still feel to me that Disney Infinity, the brand, is now a toxic name in terms of parents. Parents ain't gonna jump into something else called Disney Infinity when they know that they've spent all this money. And the name got tarnished with this big drop. Everyone just knows Disney Infinity is cancelled. They put that down as a failure. It isn't, but the big headlines are what stays.
I was gonna say, in all honesty, I don't even think a lot of parents know.
No,
but I do want to say one more thing, a piggyback off of what you said, because somebody wanted to start a Kickstarter to bring Disney Infinity back, and let me explain something about Kickstarters. You have no money. The money you would be raising in a Kickstarter, there's nowhere to put it because there is no game anymore. So there is money you're raising, it's going nowhere. And B, you can't really create a Kickstarter to relaunch something that's not even yours. Because I mean, you can't just go to Disney and said, "Hey, I started a Kickstarter. I have money. I'm doing the game." Like, well, that's not how it works. So yeah. Again, last campaign, guys. It should be called Celebrate Disney Infinity. Let's celebrate what we have, and let's show the community that we still love the game, and share our love. So yeah, that's it.
I think definitely. I think just playing the game, playing through the play sets and stuff like that. Is exactly what I think. For the short time, I would definitely recommend everyone go play some toy boxes, go do it. I'm kind of going to be honest. I feel like for me, I don't feel like they need to go and play. I'm going to be honest. It was like a part of me thinks, well, maybe I should just go play some toy boxes and experience. And it's like I feel like, well, I've been playing this game for 4 years. It's like no, I need. And this is the thing of you always want something new. You're always looking forward to the next playset, the next character, the next new toy box. And I feel like once that kind of went like, okay, it's done. And it was like, well, okay, well, look, there's something new over here. There's something shiny there. And it's like, I feel like with the toy box, I feel like I've done it for 4 years straight. So I'm not quite so excitable about downloading another, which would be great. Somebody else's maybe top 10 or top 5 toy box that I didn't play before. But I just feel like I'm toy boxed out.
What I was going to say is what I am doing, though, because I'm kind of in the same boat. But what I am doing, though, is downloading every toy box that I think I will enjoy in the future and just keeping it in, in my little bank. So that way, when I come back to, I'm playing so many different games, and when I come back to Disney Infinity, I'll be like, hey, you know what? I feel like playing a toy box. Let's see what I have in my memory thing. And so that's the one thing I have been doing. But yeah, like you said, it's well, for some of us, because I know there's some people that still love the toy box. So for some of us, that's what I would do as far as taking that route. So yeah,
I think as well as like creating toy boxes and stuff. I feel like that's all kind of I know there's still some people doing it, but I think once the non-sharing thing, I even know some of the toy box artists. They look to be they're playing more other games. I think because they've been spending so much time in Infinity on the toy box summit kind of chomp. Which, I'm kind of going to be honest. I kind of feel a little bit bad for some of the, especially some of the artists that have maybe put so much time in because they were working towards that summit and then it kind of got whipped out and they put a lot of time and effort into that. I'm not necessarily saying they deserve a trip, but there is that kind of thing of some of the major toy box art. I put so much, it was almost like a second job to them to kind of doing toy box, and it kind of got whipped away at the last minute. It was definitely. Oh yeah, carry on.
I was going to say, if any of the toy box builders are hearing me, don't get mad at me for saying this, but if you were building to go to the summit, then oh well. But if you were building because you love it, then okay, then I do feel bad.
Yeah, it's just that kind of it's just a real kind of final ending to it. It does suck, and I think E3 it kind of felt like for me almost like that was kind of it this week. The toy in Disney Infinity, I finished the place. I mean, I can still unlock a few extra things and go back and master them all, but I've never really been big on that on any video game. I've never felt the need to go and 5-star or 3-star and collect every single trinket. And it's a bit like with Finding Dory. I've unlocked a lot of toys and some stuff I still need to unlock. So but I'm never going to build with them, so I don't see the need to go and unlock them. Because they're not really, I don't want to build a Finding Dory. It kind of feels bad. I just don't want to go in the toy box.
You don't have as much drive for it anymore. You don't have as much drive for it anymore because you can't. I mean, you could definitely unlock these toys and build something for yourself, but you can't really show it off to anybody because it's going to be gone soon. So.
I think that was the thing is because I love, when I love building the toy, it didn't matter if you got placed in the top 5 because it was always that kind of thing of, oh my, like a toy box got downloaded 5, I think I had the top 5 toy box, like a reindeer one I did. It got downloaded like 20,000 times without even being in the top 5, and it's like, that was amazing. It was an amazing experience. And I loved creating a toy box that people could play. That's what really got me so excited when we could do that. That changed the toy box mode, because then everyone could enjoy stuff no matter what you did. I think once the sharing aspect went, it's kind of like, well, I don't want to spend 25, 30 hours building something that nobody else is going to play.
Yeah.
Except for me, because once I've finished building the toy box, I've done that toy box to death. I know it inside out. You can't. It's very tricky. It feels. It just, like I said, and there's always this thing of something new coming. You got Battlefront tomorrow. You got Lego Force Awakens next week. It's like, I want to play them. I want something new. I want something fresh.
Yeah, I think your biggest accomplishment, though, and obviously all your years of going to school, was definitely being on a PewDiePie video. So that was awesome.
Yeah. Oh, I still use that. I still use that as it's like I said, man, look, 5 million views.
You'll be going somewhere where they're like, sorry, sir, you can't come in. This is private. But I've been in a PewDiePie video. Oh, please come in.
It definitely feels like, I think X gone give it. It definitely feels just like, I think Finding Dory, I finished the playset and I finished some of the challenges, and I was just sitting there just like, and I finished the playset, put it down, and then I realized the other day it's been a week, and I haven't picked the game up since. And there's an incentive for me to go back and unlock everything, because unlike the previous playsets, I've always wanted to go back and unlock everything because of your building, and it's like, this sounds like, man, I don't know, it's really hard, and I know that's how I feel, and there's no point in like lying and going, no, it's amazing, and I'm going to play this every single day for 3 hours a night. It's like, I'm sorry, but I'm going to jump back into play sets and do bits and pieces over the next few years.
I feel like going back to my 360 and playing 1.0 first. Yeah.
Well, I went back and played the Lone Ranger one on the Wii, but I've since brought a PlayStation 3, and I on my next CX order, I am going to buy a 1.0 free PS3 starter pack, because they're only like $4.99 each for a second-hand one, just because I just need the disc, because I think I gave it to a charity shop when I got the PS4, just because I want to play the play sets again, because that's the real big thing. But I actually feel like I need to give it some months. I need to have some time away from it to sort of feel a bit more fresh, because I think 4 years of Infinity, I feel like I've come to the end of that, and maybe that's the big thing as well with the whole game. Maybe that's why people were stuck, people like us. We've been playing for a long time. We needed a lot more newer content.
No, yeah, it's definitely, even though it's gone, it's been quite the journey, over 100 figures. So yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, yeah. And I must admit, I was looking at, like I said, I was looking at these Lego Dimension figures yesterday. I'm going, don't want. Yeah, I like that one. Don't want.
I think that's the beauty of Lego Dimensions, though. It's all about being selective, and all of them play everywhere. So that's the cool thing about them.
I think there's that kind of feeling of like, with me, I'm not gonna. If I'm jumping into Lego Dimensions, I am not doing this again. I am not doing this thing where I'm buying everything. I'm sorry, I'm just not doing it. I'm just, as much as it's very, very tempting, it's like, I don't need a Wonder Woman. I don't like Wonder Woman. Why would I buy the figure? Whereas with Infinity, I was sometimes buying characters.
Wonder Woman.
I've just never been a big fan of Wonder Woman.
It's like one of the only Lego Dimension figures I have. I was like, what's wrong with Wonder Woman?
It's like, I'd like, Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, Superman. I'd love to get those characters.
Oh, you just like marshmallows. Stop lying.
Yeah. Oh, I love marshmallows. But it's definitely this kind of thing. I feel like for me, like Infinity, it's like, I'm going to be honest. I probably never should have brought Phileas and Agent P, because I don't think I've ever used them since I've brought them, because I never liked the characters to love.
Yeah, but we're on a Disney game fan site, so you had to.
Yeah, and there was that kind of thing. But I think that was the thing of like, you were trying. Some of the characters were really fun, and some of them weren't. And I definitely feel like if I did Skylanders Trap Team, I did Skylanders SWAT Force, and I enjoyed the game, but I didn't like the characters. Some of them were fun, but some of it I didn't like the actual characters because there was no connection. But I see Gizmo and I go, "Oh, he looks kind of quite funky," and I think that is an instant brand recognition, of which is the big thing. But this is why we're all moving. Everyone that was involved in the Infinity community are all starting to filter off, do different things. This podcast is an example of how we have. This whole podcast episode, it would be completely different to this time last year.
Yeah, I was going to say Gizmo is probably another one that I want to.
But yeah, it's definitely been an interesting week. I mean, E3 has just been a blast of news. I was going to say, is it going to calm down? But then we got so many games. I don't know what's going to happen in the summer, but with mobile updates all the time, I just feel like it's constantly going to be new updates this summer or ever.
No, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and then who knows? I'm sure there'll be more information at Comic-Con too about probably Lego Dimensions and even Skylanders and they usually take the big games out there too. So it's become this big thing. So
I'm definitely thinking like last time when Lego Avengers released, I think the week later they announced The Force Awakens. So I would not be surprised if we see some more major Lego news come out in maybe a month's time. Though I'm kind of wondering, I think they're chucking everything into Dimensions. That's how I
Lego Fast and Furious.
Yes. Yeah. Wouldn't surprise me. Yeah.
Well, look, the only reason why I say that is because Phase 2 of Dimensions looks like it's mostly Universal properties, and not to mention the 80s. Well, Fast and the Furious is a big Universal property. I'm surprised they haven't taken it over to Dimensions yet. So get ready for a Toretto minifig with his charger.
But then I could just look at that and I go, look, there's a Lego minifigure of me.
Oh, that's true. Well, I was to say it could have been Mr. T, but no, he's a little too sunburnt for you.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
It's definitely going to be an interesting thing coming on ahead. I'm looking forward, like I said, to playing Battlefront this week. This is get me back into that game this week. I know you've been playing it constantly.
Is it out tomorrow?
Yes.
Oh, nice. My day off. Okay.
Yes. Well, anyway, guys, I think that's pretty much going to wrap up our Mega E3 show. I did know that it was going to be a long show today because the show notes were massive before we'd even started. So I was looking and going, yeah, we're not going to get a DisKingdom podcast recording in today because it's too much news.
Nope.
So on that note, I'd like to thank Ethan over at sortedapps.com and Magic Band Collectors for being a patron again. Be sure to check him out on his website. Check out patreon.com/DisKingdom. Helping support the site and doing everything like that really does make all the difference for the YouTube channel. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you're on YouTube and check out some other videos. You'll see now how I host different videos. I had one strategy for doing videos that didn't really work. So now it's just basically anything new is going as quickly as possible. You're also getting lots of stuff over at DisKingdom.com. If you're on the iTunes or different like that, give us a review. You can subscribe there. Anything else you want to add, Abe, before we close off for the day?
I was going to say stay tuned for finally my unboxing of Dory, Nemo, the final ones in my collection. Also, I should be putting up a recap of E3 hopefully tomorrow, since I'll probably have some time. And also, finally, a shout out to Rob, my bromance for E3. We hung out a lot, did some cool stuff, and he was able to get me, obviously access to Skylanders, and I will probably be joining him for one of his shows this week as well. So stay tuned for him.
Yeah. On that note, we shall see you guys later. To infinity and beyond.
I'm Batman.